Howdy gamers, what's poppin'? Homeless Man Audio Equipment back again, and I wanted to talk today about my history of head injuries. Now, I think a lot of people would look at the stuff I make and kind of be like, oh, he's had head injuries? No fucking shit. You presume, based on the stuff I make, that I was spiked on my head as a child, and honestly, that's not very far off. So, I have quite a few significant events that happened over the years that I suppose I would like to talk about. And so it immediately goes off to when I think I was 2 years old. And at the age of 2 years old, I was sprinting through an alley, as you do. And in the process of doing that, I just nosedived into the concrete. I'm actually not 100% sure the story of this. I was out by myself sprinting through an alley, so the story is unclear, and I obviously don't remember it. However, when I fell, I managed to hit my upper mouth, and in the process of doing that, I knocked out 2 front teeth, and this one's a little fucked, and I knocked over a bone in the front of my mouth. And it required, I think, 3 surgeries. The first surgery it just was trying to make sure that my mouth would stop doing dumb shit because I just fucked that shit up. And I guess in between that and the second surgery, my tooth actually started growing over the bone. So then I had a second surgery and then a third surgery to finally resolve my attempted swimming in concrete. And that happened at a pretty young age, so I'm pretty sure that was really great for developmental stuff. It really empowered my fucking Spurg powers. However, I really didn't go that much longer without another head injury, because at the age of 5 years old, I managed to nosedive into something else. Once again, not sure why I did this, but there was a coffee table in front of me, apparently pretty sharp, and as you do, I just fucking nosedived right into it, probably just trying to jump on the couch or some shit. And I just cracked open the front of my fucking head, just showed that bitch what's good. The coffee table won in that fucking engagement, but regardless. So I had to get stitches with that. It wasn't that serious, I just cracked my head open, serious concussion, but that's really not that bad. And throughout my entire year of schooling, I had this really bad habit of leaning my chair back. This goes all the way from like preschool until 4th grade. When I was in 4th grade at the ripe age of 9, I was leaning my chair back like an absolute lunatic, and before in that class, my teacher kind of talked, and she was like, okay kids, we're not quite done working on this table in the back. It's freshly sandpapered. I'm not exaggerating. Literally freshly sandpapered. She's like, it's very sharp. Please don't touch it. Please don't play with it. So I, being an absolutely ascended tard, I was just leaning my chair back like usual, and I was in the back of the class. And so, I fell, cracked the back of my head open, and at this point, I was so used to cracking my head open that I actually wasn't that bothered at the age of 9 years old. So I knocked it open, and it was bleeding, and then I did like this, and I'm like, oh, my hand has blood in it. And then the entire class was freaking out, and then kind of accept the teacher, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's okay, I'm fine, I just cut the back of my head open. It was bleeding, and I'm like, oh, I'll be alright. And with that kind of demeanor as a 9-year-old, the back of his head open, so obviously the teacher's like, alright, this kid's a fucking lunatic. This is normal for him, I guess. This is just a fucking Wednesday. I went to the nurse, and holding the back of my head, and then the nurse was like, okay, what's your mom's phone number? And I was like, I don't know. Because we didn't have cell phones then, and I didn't know her home phone number, her work number, and I also had a massive concussion. So, and then they're just like, I need to know your mom's phone number, and I was telling her, like, I have a concussion right now, ma'am. I have no fucking idea what her cell phone number was. And so she was getting pissed at me, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. So, welcome to fucking Manhattan, Kansas, rural Midwest. Jesus, and this nurse is also like, oh fuck, this kid's a lunatic. And then eventually, mom picked me up, took me to the hospital, and I got, like, some staples in the back of my head. And then I went back to class, like, 30 minutes later. I think by the time I left class, I was back in class in 30 minutes. Just with the back of my head stapled. It's just, and then that's it. And obviously, I got in a lot of fights as a kid because, as you can tell, I'm a fucking asshole. I mean, even within the month, I've had my fucking head try to get beaten in. I'm not too fucking careful about what's going on up here. As you can tell, I'm pretty much a dumbass, so I'm not that worried about it. However, that concludes, like, the major events of head injuries, and I felt like I kind of wanted to share it. And I appreciate you guys. Hopefully this explains some stuff. So have a good day.